Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV, joined here today with Mark Gonzales, who is the owner of Signature Appraisals. And Mark, I just found out today that you have done about or over 3,000 appraisals. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And each appraisal, how long does each appraisal take on average?
From inspection to actually sending out, on average about 4 hours.
Okay, so there's a lot of work involved there. So you basically that's 12,000 hours if we do the math. 3,000 appraisals, 4,000 each, 12,000, right?
Right.
Okay, I read this book that said, I think the book was called Outliers, and it said in the book that if you do 10,000 hours of a thing, you become an expert on it. Meaning, if you've done, like, I've easily done 10,000 hours of real estate. I haven't done 10,000 hours of video blogs, but you've done your 10,000 hours of appraisal work. So you probably have it figured out by now.
Absolutely.
Okay, you can probably do them in your sleep. Good. Okay, so with that in mind, here's the question I get all the time. When I go to list a property, value is always an issue. Because they'll tell me, well, I talked to this other agent and they said it's worth this or it's worth this. How often and how practical is it for somebody who's, before they even list a house, to get an appraisal done?
Well, you have to keep in mind that the appraisal cannot be used to secure a loan.
Okay. So they can't hand that to the buyer and say, here, use this to go get your loan.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
The bank that is securing the loan for the buyer will issue a request for an appraisal with their own appraisal management company, and they'll send out their own appraiser.
Okay,
yeah.
But what if someone just wants to know? Like maybe somebody owns 5 houses and they live in Hawaii and they're investment houses,
right,
and they just want appraisals for their own personal knowledge to maybe decide what to do with them.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Okay.
To make sure that they don't underlist the property.
Okay, good. Because obviously the concern there is that the agents have an agenda, which is why they give different prices. So your idea is just to give them the price that you think it's valued at, that it would likely another appraiser would come to that same conclusion.
Right.
Okay. Which is kind of an interesting point. How often would you say that happens where people call you out of the blue and go, I need a pre-listing appraisal?
It doesn't happen very often with me. Some other appraisers probably tend to get a little bit more of that work, but I'd say maybe around 5% of the time.
Well, when's it like the last time you did one? Just an appraisal for, I'm going to list, I just want to know.
About 2 weeks ago.
So, okay, 2 weeks ago, so it does happen pretty regularly. Okay. With that being said, let's say you do an appraisal for a listing, and then 6 months later, it goes under contract, and then they get an appraisal with a totally different value. Talk about some reasons that might happen.
I would suspect that they would get a different value at that time, especially if the market's moving in one direction or the other.
Okay.
Increasing, decreasing values, sales. You can have an appraisal done within weeks of each other and having a different opinion of value depending on what has sold within the area, okay, and at what price points.
How often, like if you have a sale that happens on the 1st of January, okay, and then you're looking at the house now 3 months later, how much weight do you put on that value versus something closer, like something that was just sold or something 6 months ago? Like are they equally weighted because they're all within 6 months, or do you higher weight to the ones more recent to the event?
More recent, you would give more weight, but you're also considering, are they model matches within the same subdivision? Even if they were both maybe arm's length transactions, or were they short sales, or foreclosures can also have an impact.
Oh, that's okay. Very interesting. So if it's a equity sale, you're going to tend to want to compare it with other equity sales, right? If you can.
Correct.
And okay, very good. So you think it's a good idea for people to maybe get a pre-listing appraisal to maybe save themselves some hassle.
Yes, that would probably save a lot of people some hassles if especially again if they to keep them from undervaluing the property and listing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Leaving money on the table.
They would leave. They could leave. How much does appraisal cost typically? Like in rough numbers.
$300 to $350.
So that's not much. If you make $1,000 more on the sale because you priced it right, you made your money back.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to call and hire you to do an appraisal for them, how do they get in touch with you?
They can call me direct at 702-278-8840, and that's my direct line. They can call me 7 days a week.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the
Todd.
show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Gonzales, wanted to share him with you. That's my update, and hope to see you on another video. Thanks.